Just starting the valve cover gasket job here, which is pretty easy. There's the spark plug cover. I took that off and removed the air box, and so now I'm just looking at taking off the actual valve cover. Got all the coils out of the way. In the previous video I did the spark plugs, and that's where I noticed for sure, like number 1 and 2, it's there's a rubber gasket right around here, and that's definitely blown. There's oil in here. So my mother-in-law has been driving this around, and she's been noticing big time oil burning smell, and it's pretty hard to capture on camera, but I mean, it's pretty nasty down there. There's a lot of oil pretty much on all of them. So gonna pull the actual valve cover off here, spray it down with some brake cleaner, clean it really good. I might take the baffles off, which is just right under here, and basically just get it all clean as possible. And then I can actually get the parts in tomorrow. There's going to be some rubber, what would it be called, a gasket or a grommet that goes under here. You can kind of see it on this one. It's yeah, these are definitely worn out. And then there's also these 2 rubber pieces back here that go, the breather, basically the breathers. So yeah, I got new parts for those coming. I have to pick them up tomorrow, but I can get all of this prepped, and then I should be able to put it back tomorrow. And then one last thing I'm going to do, which is definitely controversial, is well, first I'm going to clean this. So, you know, it still has that muck in there, and it's coming from the radiator. It goes into here. This is active, so it's circulating around and bubbling all this shit everywhere, basically. So what I'm going to do is just drain this, clean it out with a hose tonight, put it back. I don't think there's a head gasket problem, but just in case, I bought a bottle of K-Seal, so I'm going to use that, and that's going to get any of the head gasket if there's coolant leaking. If there's going to be a coolant leak, it's probably getting oil in there too. Now, I don't know that's the problem. There's also down here, there's the oil filter. And so right under here, there is a oil and coolant heat exchange. And so that's another possibility too, where there could be like a break if that's how it gets into there. But I want to get the head gasket good. I'm actually going to sell the car to my stepmom, or my mother-in-law. So my mother-in-law has been driving it around the last 2 weeks, and she's had no problems with it. It's been a good car, so I'm really happy about that. But I don't want to sell her the car if there's going to be a head gasket problem, and I want to see how this oil leak is going to turn out too. So I'm going to get started on taking off the bolts, and we'll see what it looks like underneath. Got each of the bolts with the valve cover removed, and they all basically look like this, where I'm gonna have to spend some time cleaning it up, but you can tell that rubber grommet failed, and it's hard as a rock. It's pretty nasty, so I'm gonna be spraying this with some brake cleaner. I'm gonna have to try to physically separate these things here with a screwdriver and all that stuff. We'll see how that goes. But anyway, it's gonna take the valve cover off here. So let's see, there's a nice little pry point right here. So I'm gonna get a bigger screwdriver and just kind of gently give that some leverage and see what we got under here. Just taking a peek through the oil filler cap. It's already looking interesting. Yeah, let's see if I can get it. There we go. So we can see it's pretty orange in there, so that's probably not good, but yeah, we'll see. All right, here's the first look. So this, I guess I've seen worse, but this is definitely not looking good. I think this will clean up okay, but definitely I think the people skipped on repairs for sure. You can see that there's the gaskets that go for the spark plug. Some of those are just baked on. I'm just gonna have to scrape those off and clean the mating surface really good. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this might clean up okay, we'll see. But yeah, and I'll pull the spark plugs after this is done and just clean those off too. But here's the actual cover. So yeah, this was super loose in the front, which I think that's where a lot of the oil is coming from. The oil burning definitely is coming from these. So I'll clean this up. I'm not sure if I'll do the removing the baffles and resealing that part, but I got the RTV just in case. But this should clean up. And then there's two pieces back here that I'll have to verify are on there. People call them the half moons. It's pretty, I don't think I'll be able to get it on the camera here, but I'll have to see what condition those are in, or even if they're on. But they go right where the cams are, right behind it. Okay, I see them. They're not visible. Look, yeah, you could barely see it on the camera. There's like two little black legs popping out. So those are those. I think this thing is harder than rock. Yeah. So I think there's probably some oil leaking there too, if it's not cracked. So yeah, we'll see. The radiator expansion tank I cleaned up with a garden hose, but you can see it's not very clean. I took it all off. I sprayed the shit out of it. And then even that, after that, I took some distilled water, filled it all the way up, sealed all the holes, shook it up really good, and it got some of the stuff out, but it's really got on the sides there, so I'm just gonna leave it, whatever. That's definitely a pro tip, is to flush the radiator before you put a brand new expansion tank in there. Because yeah, it was like that when I got the car, but I flushed the radiator, you know, I put in fluid and flushed it maybe 5 or 6 times. So I got a lot of stuff out of there, and you saw that in the earlier videos. So anyways, I'm just gonna leave that, and then got a garbage bag over the head basically. So yeah, got my workshop over there, just gonna start cleaning that up. Here's the valve cover, got it ready to clean. So there's the baffle plates that go in here, and I still gotta pop out those breather gaskets or whatever they're called. Those are caked in there big time. I was scraping it with a knife and I couldn't get it, so time to start spraying some brake cleaner in here and see what happens. 1 a.m. right now, and put about an hour and a half into cleaning up the valve cover and all the different pieces. So this looks a lot better than it did before. I'm guessing all the orange is, you know, that's all burnt oil. I'll have to go over it maybe one more time, but I mean, I hit it pretty good. I went through a couple Scotch-Brite pads, and yeah, all along these grooves here, just getting all that RTV out of there. Yeah, so over here, these are all the plastic, or the, I guess they're not plastic, well, they are plastic now, but they're rubber, or they were rubber. And so, like, here's the half moon piece. Yeah, these are, and so with the ones that go on the bolts, I couldn't even get those off without them breaking. So I don't think anybody's ever changed this the whole time. The car's got 152,000 miles on it. Yeah, the actual valve cover itself, if you just bend it, everything's cracking. Yeah, the ones for like the spark plug, you can hear that. It's definitely good to get this replaced. And so, yeah, I even cleaned off those, basically the baffle plating that goes in here. Yeah, so just got to do that. And then I got some Permatex Black Ultra gasket maker. So I'll get that sealed really good. Get all the different pieces from the Mercedes valve cover kit over here on there, and then I have all of the different ones I missed, like the, let's see, like the breathers. This one is so on there that, I mean, I took the pair of channel locks and was just pulling it, and it's just cracking. So that's going to be interesting. Just sitting down with a pick tool or whatever, just getting that all that shit off there. But I'll be getting these in tomorrow, and then each of the grommets that goes for the bolts. And so yeah, I just made, you know, stereotypical, just where all the bolts go kind of thing. And yeah, so that'll be great. I'll try to clean these up as I'm going too, just to get all that stuff off there. So day one looks pretty good, and should be able to finish this the next go.